Peled. Good afternoon to everyone. I hope you can hear me well. And it's been a really interesting session before. I joined towards the end, but it seemed to be like a very interesting session. And I want to follow that up with the introduction that Fad gave before. So at PointGrab, we're in the smart sensing world for smart buildings and specifically commercial real estate and office buildings. And with the recent COVID situation that has been affecting everyone globally, we looked at our platform and tried to see how we can assist our customers and our partners in their return to work strategy. But even before that, we were looking at the commercial real estate market, even pre-COVID, and we saw that this market was undergoing a very big transformation. So from a cubicle space, from office space into large open spaces with flexible and agile working environments, hot desking and activity-based working. We saw that gradually the average area that the person has in the office was decreasing significantly in the last few years. But something that was increasing on the other hand was the concern around productivity and also the well-being of the employees in the organization. And we found that customers are basically looking at a kind of balance between how they can increase the employee experience on one hand, but on the other hand, reduce the costs of the real estate, which besides the employees themselves are the largest costs that the organizations can have. And that was pre-COVID-19, and then obviously the pandemic hit globally, and it completely changed the way that organizations are thinking about their workspaces. Now they're looking more at ways of returning their employees to work in a healthy and safe environments. And what we have been looking from our platform perspective is a way to help them to achieve that. So one of the probably biggest buzzwords that organizations have or people have been using to date have been social distancing. And part of the challenge is that how you can provide sufficient social distancing, monitoring and alerting capabilities in order to make sure that your employees are kept healthy and safe and can still return to work. So the PointGrab platform, which is a smart sensing platform for smart buildings, is there to provide these capabilities. The way that we do that is from our platform, which is made up from sensors and a cloud management system. We can provide different data sets to the organizations that will help them manage the space more efficiently on one hand, and also provide sufficient social distancing monitoring capabilities with regards to the employees. The kind of data that the PointGrab platform provides includes a very accurate count of how many people are in a certain space. It includes a data set called traffic lines, which is a bidirectional count of people moving in and out over a virtual line on the floor. And it also includes location information, either in the form of heat maps to show where people tend to gather across the floor or in a specific room, for example, and also location information in the form of XY coordinates, so that these XY coordinates can be used to measure the distance between two people in a space, or combined with the count data can give a kind of density parameter with regards to a group of people sitting in a meeting room. All of this data is completely anonymized and private. The platform is GDPR compliant, which means that no personal identifiable data is used. It's all anonymized data. And this is done on a platform on the sensors, which are edge analytics devices, which means that all of the analytics and processing is done on the sensor itself. And the only data that is transmitted is private data or anonymized data. For example, in meeting room A, there are currently 5 people. Or at the traffic line at the entrance to the floor, 10 people went in and 7 people went out. Or for the 3 people sitting in the meeting room, These are the distances between them and whether their distance is safe or not. These data points can allow applications that are available in the building, whether it's building management systems, space management systems, or booking systems, to enable social distancing capabilities, as I mentioned before. It also allows the organization to efficiently disperse people across the floor and also implement hygienic measures. For example, if we see that a person has been sitting at a workstation during the last hour, once this person has left the workstation, you can call the cleaning services automatically to prepare this workstation for the next person in line, so that the next person coming in knows that this workstation has been cleaned and it's safe to use. The way that we view the building is that the building needs to work for the employee. So from the moment that the person enters the building, whether it's through an automatic system in the elevators, calling the elevators automatically to a floor based on the occupancy on that floor, or whether it's for finding an available desk in the building, the PointGrab platform can provide this data both in real time, and also this data can be used as historical data for analytics purposes. You can then use this real-time data also during the lunchtime to monitor the cafeteria and see which tables are available in real time, see how long the queue is in front of the cashier in the cafeteria, and that will save employees time or save them from wasting time in going down to a crowded area where there are too many people and they cannot find a sitting place. When you look on the meeting rooms in the building, we can solve one of the main pains for organizations today, which is reserved no-shows. So people booking a meeting room, but then canceling the meeting and not showing up, and the meeting room is still booked in the system. Combining our sensor technology with the booking system in the building, if the booking system sees that the meeting room has not been occupied, it can release that room in the booking system and make it available for other people in the organization. Obviously increasing productivity, but also well-being, that people have more meeting rooms available. Moving forward, you can also monitor other public areas in the building, like the gyms and the restrooms. Gyms to see if they are crowded or not, restrooms for monitoring, for cleaning purposes, and so on. So through the data provided from the PointGrab platform, you can have the building working for the employee rather than the other way around. Our solution, our sensing solution, provides granularity from the building all the way down to the desk level. You can get data on the occupancy, the average occupancy in the building throughout the day, and then move granularly down to the floor level to count how many people are on the floor at any one time, whether it's for social distancing purposes or safety purposes. You can then monitor meeting rooms, whether they are being utilized efficiently. So large meeting rooms used by large groups of people, and smaller meeting rooms for smaller meetings. And you can also monitor down to the desk level. So if you are moving to a flexible, agile working environment or consolidating your real estate, you can actually more efficiently use the building by populating it with more people in comparison to the amount of workstations that you have in a hot desking format. Also, as I mentioned, we can monitor the location of people. So that enables social distancing use cases and monitoring to make sure that people are keeping 2 meters or 6 feet apart, and also making sure that groups within the meeting rooms are according to the amounts allowed with regards to local regulation, and also with regards to their actual location within the meeting room. So as I mentioned before, the kind of data can allow for social distancing monitoring in these current COVID situations, but will also allow moving forwards in the post-COVID area to better manage your office and push this real-time data for a variety of use cases, whether it's for better utilization of the building, whether it's for hygienic measures and automation of the facility management, and whether it's for advanced social distancing applications that might be needed in the future as we want more people to go back to work and back to the office. And all of that for organizations to provide and promise their employees that their environment is safe and secure. The current deployments that we have worldwide are significant, and we're pretty much covering a global deployment space. We have sold over 20,000 sensors to date in over 180 installations with over 100 customers. We're monitoring close to 800,000 square meters in space and generating 30 million events every day. And these events include count data of people, traffic line data for bidirectional traffic lines, and also location data. What I would like to do now is show you a demonstration from one of our deployments, from one of our biggest customers. And in order to do that, let me switch to our cloud management system. So hopefully now you can see the floor plan which I'm sharing. And what you are seeing is the user interface from our cloud management system. What you're seeing is a live view from a deployment we have with Deloitte in central London. This is one of Deloitte's buildings in their campus in London. Unfortunately, the building is empty, as it has been for the last 9 or 10 weeks, but we do expect people to get back to this building next month. But I wanted to use this as an example to show you an example of scale, and also an example of some of the use cases that we are being applied for. So this building has 14 floors. It's around 24,000 square meters of office space, and we're covering the entire building with sensors. So there are 1,039 sensors in this building. As you can see from the picture here, we are covering pretty much the entire office space in this building. So if I zoom in, you can see that our sensors are monitoring meeting rooms, and as you see here. And once people are occupied in this meeting room, we can also provide the data of how many people are in that room in this number on the top left of this area, and also show their location. We can also monitor collaboration spaces and actually split the field of view of the sensor to look at sub areas within the detection area of the sensor. So if you have an open collaboration area, we can split it up virtually into the different seating positions within the building and monitor each one separately. And in the same fashion here on the bottom, you can see that we are also monitoring the desks and workstations. One of the capabilities of the system is that a single sensor can monitor multiple areas or multiple seating positions. So if I select this sensor, you see that it lights up the areas of interest or desks that are monitored by that sensor. So this sensor here is monitoring 10 desks simultaneously. And in the same fashion, you can monitor different areas in a collaboration space, like I showed you here. Another data set that I mentioned before is the traffic lines. And you can see 3 traffic lines here in the middle, and I'll zoom in so you have a better view. So you have here 3 traffic lines, which are monitored by the same sensor in the same way that the sensor can monitor multiple desks. Each traffic line gives you a plus minus count of how many people cross that line, either in the direction of the arrow, which is plus, or the other direction, which is minus. And the use case here, you see that the traffic lines are monitoring the restrooms. And what the customer is using this for is to automate the cleaning services. So based on a threshold that is set in the building management system, let's say that if 20 or 30 people use the restrooms, the building management system will call the cleaning services automatically to service this area or clean this area. So it's a kind of automation of the facility management, or more of a usage-based service rather than a time-based service. So this is another example of how you can use this data both for ongoing management of the building, but also for health and hygiene purposes around COVID-19. So this is the platform, this is what we do. And again, you can see it here on a relatively large-scale deployment where we are covering pretty much the entire office space. So from meeting rooms to desks areas, collaboration spaces. You can see that there are actually people in this area now. You can see the two icons of people moving around in the location here. And the count data will update in around between 30 seconds to 1 minute time to show how many people are in that area. So I will be happy to take any questions should there be any from coming in.
Hi, Roy. Yes, we do have a few questions, but this one is quite interesting. It has come from Jan Zizak. Forgive me if I mispronounced the name, Jan, but here it is. How difficult is it to integrate your smart building app with the many building management systems in many different buildings? Should IT be concerned about security and firewalls?
So I think there are two questions there in one question, and I will answer both. So first of all, the integration is almost seamless. We use the REST API in a cloud-to-cloud integration, and we actually have numerous integrations with applications like building management systems, space management tools, and booking systems, where we've actually integrated with over 50 such applications. And it's a seamless integration. It's a question of a matter of days to take our API and integrate it into an existing system. With regards to IT and InfoSec, we're actually deployed with numerous customers, including banks, financial institutions, consultancy firms like Deloitte, and so on. And we've passed through all of their InfoSec certifications and audits. Our platform is an outbound traffic platform only. So there is no inbound traffic coming into our platform. We only push data out, which makes it easier for the IT to approve such a system into their corporate network. And we also require only two outbound ports to be opened in the firewall, which is, again, is relatively simple from an IT perspective. So that's to answer both your questions.